Look at the Northeast. Tremendous snow on the ground there in New York, as well as much of New England, and then all the way down to the south into North Texas. But here is a sign of the times right there. That is thunder that is coming up through parts of Mississippi and Louisiana, the very areas where we saw winter weather in recent days. And we do expect that there's going to be a lot more warm weather coming. In fact, looking out to about 11 to 15 days, it should be pretty mild across a lot of the country. And we're going to have more on that coming up in our next hour. All right, so here is the radar showing you what's going on in the Northeast right now. A large area of mostly lighter snow. There is also freezing rain, and as you know, that's absolutely awful for travel. There is the current picture across the D.C. metro, still getting freezing rain now at BWI as well as Dulles and Reagan. We are seeing some drying back through Virginia, but it looks like this is going to persist for at least another couple of hours. And all told, we could be talking about accumulations of between 1/10 and 1/4 of an inch. Now, generally, that's not quite enough to cause widespread power problems, which is not to say that there won't be any, but it's not going to be widespread, most likely. Travel problems will be a concern, but at least the timing's good, occurring on a Sunday evening. Getting rain now in Salisbury, Maryland. Coming up through the Delmarva, we've had moderate freezing rain in southern Jersey near Millville. That has also been the case there in southeast PA, and that really is going to be the sort of target area for the higher amounts of ice accumulation. That's where we're talking about possibly 1/4 of an inch and maybe even a little bit more in some spots. So that would be the area where we might see some power outages and certainly very difficult travel. Lancaster on through the Turnpike and right into Philly, especially north and west of Philly, and then also across and into central parts of Jersey. It's going to be very messy over the next several hours here. And then farther northward, we've got snow now in New York. It is moderate snow. We expect that there's going to be a mix working in later tonight. And then you've got light snow in southern New England. The heaviest amounts of snow are likely going to be centered there in southern New England, generally 3 to 5, maybe a little more than that in the southeasternmost part of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Now in the west, we're watching this big upper low, beautiful water vapor picture. This thing is separated from the main flow of the jet stream, so there's nothing really pushing it along very quickly. And you've got this feed of moisture that's now driving up from the Pacific and into the interior west, and that is slowly going to come across the west over the next couple of days. A lot of rain showing up right now from California into Vegas. That's really nice to see when it's been so dry for so long. And then here is our high-resolution model forecast, and we'll watch that conveyor belt of moisture continue to drive right into Utah with the snow in the higher elevations. Tomorrow morning, it's occurring there in western parts of Colorado, and then slowly coming across and moving to the east. And because of the slow movement of the system, we're expecting really high amounts of snow, talking about 2 feet or more in the higher elevations in southern Utah and western parts of Colorado. These are areas that are very dry, not as dry as California, but very dry. And so this is certainly good that we're getting water in any form, and snowpack definitely helps out as you get into those drier months. Now, as that energy comes out and across the Midwest, we're going to see snow developing through the Midwest. There is Tuesday, snow here across the western lakes. It's going to be a big wintry mix in the Ohio Valley. More snow for the Northeast, a lot of rain for the Southeast. And again, ladies, as we look out towards 11 to 15 days, much warmer for the entire country. Isn't that nice?
I love it. Bring it on.
Thank you so much, Carl. Well, you know, we got to talk about Boston because they are closing in on the snowfall record across the Boston area. We're in second place, and just a few inches would get us there. So we are going to continue to watch that. Of course, we'll have tons of coverage if they get it. But Winter Storm Sparta offering up snow as we speak.
And I think Thor may give it to them at least by Tuesday as it comes into the Northeast.
Absolutely. Well, stay with us.
Yeah, we're going to continue our coverage here as we keep you updated on both winter storms, Sparta and Thor, and the latest tracks and all the details that you're going to need to know on these two storms in our special live coverage all day until 10 o'clock tonight. We're back right after your look on the 8s.
Oh, we leave you with a look at D.C. You can see the White House in between those icicles. Freezing rain in the area.
and I've slipped a couple times, and there's 2 cars that almost hit me.
Dangerous driving conditions for millions on this Sunday. Cars and big trucks overturned, creating gridlock in several states, all from 2 dangerous winter storms that are moving across the country.
And we have many places that are under some sort of winter storm warning or weather advisory. In fact, 46 states will be impacted from 2 storms, either Sparta or Thor, maybe even both, over the next 72 hours. Right now, 75 million people are under some sort of winter alert.
And, you know, it's not just today. If you live in around these cities, you're going to be dealing with winter weather to start the first part of the week. D.C., where you have freezing rain right now. Look at the icicles. Denver, Chicago, Boston, snow falling there. You're going to keep the winter weather for your Mondays and Tuesdays. We're tracking it all, timing it out hour by hour on this special edition of Weather Center Live. And we have a busy Sunday as we track 2 powerful winter storms rolling across the country. We thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alex Wilson.
And I'm Jennifer Lopez. Yes, we have it all. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, even lightning strikes in the southeast with some thunderstorms. But we want to first focus in on the winter weather, which is creating a lot of havoc for millions today. So let's go right out to storm specialist Carl Parker. He's in the lab with everything that you need to know about these storms.
Hey, Jen, we are looking at a possibility of 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation, especially right around southeast Pennsylvania and into New Jersey. Now, that could be enough to cause some power outages. It's going to be more of a problem on the roads. At least the timing is very good, occurring on a Sunday afternoon and evening, and it's going to be winding down by late tonight. I apologize for the radar. We're having some issues where it's dropping out here, but you can get a sense of what's going on before that happens. And you notice the freezing rain continuing in the Baltimore and D.C. area. It's now being reported light freezing rain at DCA, at BWI, and also at IID there in Northern Virginia. We've got freezing rain right down 95 into southeast Virginia, and then coming across the Chesapeake Bay and into eastern Maryland and parts of Delaware. And then farther to the north, we've gotten into some moderate freezing rain. We've seen that on and off in Lancaster, now being reported in Reading. Also moderate freezing rain in Millville in southern Jersey and Atlantic City. You can bet it is really, really tough on the Atlantic City Expressway and the PA Turnpike from Philly and on westward right on out into Lancaster, and it will continue to be difficult in those areas. Eventually later tonight, we expect that warmer air is going to push in and change that freezing rain over to rain there in southern Jersey. So the target area for the heaviest of accumulation is right in there in southeast PA. Now, farther north, it is light snow in New York. A lot of reports of moderate snow in southeast New York and across Connecticut, Bridgeport, as well as White Plains, Poughkeepsie, and getting over there into the north side of New Jersey, Caldwell. All those areas reporting moderate snow right now, and we're getting some light snow up into the Boston area. The heaviest of snow is likely going to be right there in southeastern New England. So here's our model forecast, and we'll take this forward. That snow winding down tonight across a lot of western PA, maybe some lingering snow in West Virginia. By early in the morning, we're talking about snow continuing in southeastern New England, but our freezing rain will be winding down at that time.
Duluth Trading Fire Hose Work Pants. Tougher than a grizzly's grope. Get a pair. Only at DuluthTrading.com.
According to the U.S. Department of Energy, most homes have air leaks and drafts that waste so much energy, it's like leaving a window open in your home all year long. Don't let another year go by. Call Champion Windows at 844-4-CHAMPION. And right now, when you buy 2 rooms of windows, you get the 3rd room free. Plus, Champion now offers no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. So call 844-4-CHAMPION today. Because every home needs a champion.
Lowe's presents How to Make a Friend Speak When She's Speechless.
Wow, Kim, I'm speechless. Your new bathroom looks so beautiful, I can't even talk right now. I literally can't even open my mouth to talk.
Now get the Moen Oxby faucet for $89 at Lowe's. The Yamaha Viking, and introducing the all-new Viking 6. The hardest working, most off-road capable side-by-sides in America. Built for the hardest working people on Earth. You.
You don't know your credit
I don't know
score?
my credit score.
That's really important. I mean,
I don't know my
Don't
credit
you want to
score.
buy a house, like, ever? You should probably check out Credit Karma. It's free.
Credit Karma. Free.
Credit Karma. Really free credit scores.
We build weather inventions.
Wow, anybody else surprised it actually worked? Mother Nature can absolutely change people.
I'm ready to get out of here and create a new track.
This is a tornado emergency.
It was hard to believe weather could do that.
Never seen anything like this in my life.
I've always seen No-No on TV, and I always wondered if it worked. And it's definitely, I can see what everybody talks about now.
It's not.
I work at New England's largest wind farm.
And I help provide hydroelectric power to the Northeast.
And I'm proud that in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy, we provided half of the city's power.
And we're all proud to work for TransCanada.
TransCanada has invested billions in emissionless energy sources, from wind and solar to hydro and nuclear. Recognized 13 straight years on Dow Jones Sustainability World Index. TransCanada, America's trusted energy partner.
Oh, they're not rock stars. They're just the best pharmacists around. You trust us to be your grocery store. Trust us to be your pharmacy. Harris Teeter.
We have some new video in from Indiana. This is up in Fishers, just to the northeast of Indianapolis. And you can see a lot of folks out there shoveling their driveways. All day long they've been doing it.
You got to, because everybody's like, oh, tomorrow's Monday. I'm going to have to head to work, and I don't want to get up early. You definitely don't want to have to get out of bed and do that.
That's right. Well, that's all thanks to Janet Wilson. She sent us that on our Facebook page.
You know, the snow, pretty to look at, but if you have to drive, it can be dangerous.
Yeah, back-to-back winter storms have created some big problems on all the highways across dozens of states.
Absolutely. Meteorologist Kate Parker has more on those driving conditions caused by our two latest winter storms.
From Oregon to Maine, a marathon of winter storms causing a smash-up on America's highways.
I see people that follow too close, and they don't give themselves enough time to stop. They don't recognize when bridges and overpasses start to freeze in cold temperatures.
We didn't have much time to react to anything. It was just literally, we came out of this fog of snow, and it was right there. So we just slammed right into it, and then people just started hitting us.
The most recent, Winter Storm Sparta, bringing sudden whiteout conditions and traffic to a standstill in North Texas. In Fort Worth, Interstates 30 and 35 completely shut down.
This is not what I thought Texas was going to do.
In Maine, a pileup left more than 70 cars banged up and stranded on I-95 for 5 hours. At the time, the National Weather Service says there was at least an inch of snow on the ground.
I think that sometimes people, they don't know their limitations, and they tend to overdrive their abilities.
Since Thanksgiving, there have been more than 50 multi-vehicle pileups. One of the worst pileups of the year, a fiery crash amid the snow-covered I-94 in Michigan.
The firework truck is the truck that hit me. It sounded like machine guns.
In Oregon, icy conditions contributing to a major crash involving more than 20 vehicles, many of them semi-trucks. This wreck happened after 2 trucks came down a hill, slid on black ice, and crashed. Out of the crash, an incredible image of a man trapped between 2 semis. He walked away with just a few scrapes and bruises.
I was just glad to be alive and get out of there, so I ran out of there, and everything was good.
The best advice to avoid being caught in a pileup.
Just slow down. Give yourself enough time to get to where you're going.
And, you know, looking at that, we want to make sure you stay safe on the road. So let's take a look at your travel forecast. Right now, again, we've lost a few of our radar frames, but we have seen freezing rain from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore, also towards the Richmond area. So this is what you have right now. Richmond getting a little bit of a break, but you head up 95. Ashland still dry. Fredericksburg still dry as well. But notice with the sights of the D.C. metro area on the horizon, that's where the precip does continue to fall. We've seen some freezing rain. Further up to the north, we've seen snow. So watch for a little bit of that ice still from D.C. to Baltimore. But once you get up to Philadelphia, we see that freezing rain very quickly change over to snow. So off towards the west of 95, that's where you'll likely see some of that snow through, say, Hagerstown, Maryland, over to Cumberland, Maryland. And then around the Philadelphia area, we have seen the freezing rain, also the snow just up to the north for places like Conshohocken and Lansdale, also up towards Allentown. Looking forward in time now, this is what we'll see through the evening. That freezing rain begins to wrap up around D.C. through the later evening hours. Still could see that into parts of eastern Pennsylvania, including Bucks, Berks, and Lehigh County. South Jersey, you are waking up to a little bit of freezing rain at 5 o'clock. By 7 o'clock, many spots dry out, but interior parts of the Northeast down into West Virginia will continue to see snow showers for your morning commute on Monday. Current delays as far as the airports go, it's been a real problem at a lot of those in the Northeast. Newark, you have seen sleet mixing in with some of those rain showers, and you've got delays at 30 minutes, 2 hours for New York thanks to the snow and the ice. And in Philadelphia, the freezing rain has led to delays over 4 hours. Jennifer.
All right, well, we are going to continue to bring you much more on the Winter Storm Sparta and Thor right after your look on the 8th, including the cities that are going to see the biggest impacts. That includes Washington, D.C., as we look live at the White House through the ice that is covering up the camera lens here, and that snow still on the ground.
Introducing new Flonase Allergy Relief Nasal Spray. Now available over the counter in full prescription strength. When we breathe in allergens, our bodies react by overproducing 6 key inflammatory substances that cause our symptoms. The leading allergy pill only controls 1. Flonase controls 6. And 6 is greater than 1. Flonase, the 24-hour relief that outperforms the #1 allergy pill. So go ahead, inhale life. New Flonase. 6 is greater than 1. This changes everything.
Jack's heart attack didn't come with a warning. Today, his doctor has him on a bare aspirin regimen to help reduce the risk of another one. If you've had a heart attack, be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen.
How do you make cancer a thing of the past? Well, you use the past. Huntsman Cancer Institute has combined 300 years of family histories with health records to discover inherited genes for melanoma, breast, colon, and ovarian cancers, so we can predict and treat cancer, and sometimes even prevent it from happening in the first place. To learn more or support the cause, go to huntsmancancer.org.
You're clean. Bam!
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans so much better it meets even the highest standards of clean. With a soft, DuraClean texture, Charmin Ultra Strong is 4 times stronger, and you can use up to 4 times less.
Charmin Ultra Strong.
My goal was to finally get in shape. Not to be focusing again on my moderate to severe chronic plaque psoriasis. So I finally made a decision to talk to my dermatologist about Humira. Humira works inside my body to target and help block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to my symptoms. In clinical trials, most adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis saw 75% skin clearance on Humira, and the majority of people were clear or almost clear in just 4 months. Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection. Set a new goal today. Ask your dermatologist about Humira, because with Humira, clear skin is possible.
It's all leading to the end of days.
This is bigger than any of us. This thing could bring the whole world into chaos. Armageddon.
Dig premieres Thursday at 10 on USA Network.
This March, one man's trash.
This is perfect.
Is another man's wood-powered Jeep gasifier.
Brainstormers, premiering Sunday, March 22nd, only on the Weather Channel.
Right now, Indianapolis shoveling out after Winter Storm Sparta blanketed them with snow. You're looking at video from earlier today, several inches, forced people out of their homes, out into the cold to shovel out. You know, we're tracking another winter storm, Thor, that will bring even more wintry weather to start the week. Get this, over the next 72 hours, 46 states will see some impact from either Winter Storm Sparta and Thor. So, and we're all in this together. We thank you so much for staying with us for this special edition of Weather Center Live. I'm Alex Wilson.
And I'm Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, we're thinking maybe Washington State, Oregon, Alaska, and Hawaii.
Yeah,
may not
the only ones who get out.
May not be impacted. The rest of us, though, we're going to see some sort of precipitation from the storm system. And this is going to include a lot of the big cities. St. Louis here, you've already had snow. You're going to see maybe some more, perhaps in the form of freezing rain. Cleveland, snow expected to come your way. And D.C., it's been an icy day. Boston, snow for you today, probably some more by the end of the week. So a lot of people are going to be impacted from this.
Absolutely. So let's get right out to the lab. Storm specialist Carl Parker is standing by with everything you need to know about these powerful winter storms.
Hey, Alex, we're going to begin in D.C. where the freezing rain continues at this hour. We're still seeing light freezing rain around Baltimore and D.C. and then points southward into southern Maryland. And this is going to go on through mid-evening, gradually winding down later tonight. There's the current radar picture. We are seeing that radar drop out, unfortunately, but you certainly get a sense of what's going on there. Continues to sort of build back into northern Virginia, and ice now again being reported at Dulles as well as BWI, down to the south, right down 95 into Richmond, and we're getting plain old rain right now in Salisbury, Maryland. Now, here is our forecast for the D.C. metro, and you notice in purple that freezing rain continuing until mid-evening, and then we begin to see more rain coming in. Temperatures start to come up a little bit, and so by late tonight, some lingering pockets of freezing rain, but it's mostly going to be changing over to freezing rain before ending altogether by tomorrow morning, and then a much better situation in the morning, though there still could be some slick spots, so you want to keep that in mind. Now, this is the area where we're really concerned about a lot of accumulation, talking about southeastern Pennsylvania. Now ice being reported in Reading as well as York, Lancaster, and right into the Philly metro and across southern Jersey as well. We've seen moderate freezing rain in all of these areas, and you notice the sort of bullseye being indicated by our high-resolution model, and that from Lancaster County right through Chester County into Delaware, also Burke, Bucks counties, Philadelphia County, and then across into central parts of New Jersey, but most notably just outside of Philly and on westward right near the turnpike there, and again near Chester County. That's where we could be talking about a quarter of an inch and maybe a little bit more. So you're just starting to get into that territory where you start to really weigh down the branches and the power lines, and you might be talking about some power outages. Certainly a lot of very difficult travel conditions. At least it is a Sunday, but it's going to be very hard getting around. And we're going to watch that coming up through New Jersey and right into the New York City metro. So here is our forecast for mid-evening. There's the freezing rain starting to come into the tri-state area, certainly so on the south side, and then going through the rest of the night we see a changeover to rain across a lot of southern Jersey. Still seeing the snow there in southeastern New York up towards Poughkeepsie and Newburgh, and we're still getting the snow in southern parts of Connecticut. And then finally the whole thing begins to wind down very early tomorrow morning, and it looks like we're going to be in much better shape during the day tomorrow when temperatures start to come up. So talking about accumulations, we're going to see the heaviest amounts most likely in southern Connecticut. 7 inches is what we're thinking going forward in Bridgeport, 5 in White Plains, and about 4 in New York City. And then here is a look at the radar in southern New England, and you've got snow coming down there, and we're talking about an additional 4 to 5 inches in southeastern parts of Massachusetts. Now, on top of all of that, we've got another system on the way. Here is the upper low that is now in Southern California and very slowly coming down. This loop of the water vapor image has actually been in the last 18 hours, and you can see that it has moved very, very little in that time, being separated from the main flow of the jet stream. So this area, this conveyor belt of moisture and snow and rain is very slowly going to slide across into Arizona, into New Mexico, into Colorado over the next couple of days, and the snowfall amounts are going to be spectacular in the higher elevations. Great news for the skiers out there, talking about the Southern Rockies in Utah getting 12 to 18, more than 2 feet in the highest elevations in southwestern Colorado, Sangre de Cristos and the San Juans. Very, very good hit of snow here, and this is good news for an area that has generally been quite dry. Now we're going to watch that upper low finally kick out Tuesday and into Wednesday. There's a front associated with that, and we're going to watch moisture come up and override that front into the colder air right here across the Midwest. So that is going to set the stage for our next round of winter weather. And as we look at the Chicago metro, snow begins to sneak in there going into very early Tuesday morning, and that continues through Tuesday morning, and then we're going to see some freezing rain. So messy start, we think, in Chicago on Tuesday morning. Alex, over to you.
Thank you so much, Carl. We've seen a mix of sleet, snow, freezing rain blanketing the mid-Atlantic. Winter storm warning still in place until 3 a.m. Monday.
Yeah, our Rick Adams is live near Union Station in Washington, D.C., where they've been dealing with some icy conditions. How's it going, Rick?
Oh, Jen, Alex, Both of you, I'm missing the studio right now, but you know, I have to say it's a great job because we are experiencing what exactly is going on out there for you directly. This is like an interactive show, really, isn't it? Because that's why I'm here. I'm here to show you what is happening. And look, if you look at the ground here, Kerry, thanks. This is really, it looks like it's nothing. Solid, absolutely solid. And I can do a little sort of Michael Jackson moonwalk on it, but that is how bad it is, and that is what's going to start happening now. That is why the Maryland Transport Police are saying, please, you know, just stay off the roads. Way better idea not to do that. In fact, a great idea if you are traveling in this area, there's an app, 511. Check that out, download it. You can even check out all the different cameras on the routes in the Virginia area, and it's also available for Maryland too. And speaking of which, power, I know you guys were talking about that a little bit earlier on. Well, that's what happens when you have freezing rain. It starts to build up on the power